Hello, everyone. My name is Juben with Dana Legal Services, and today we're going to very clearly and step-by-step cover how to file a provisional patent application. Let me begin by saying that this is not a webinar on how to prepare a provisional patent application or any patent application. This is more about taking a prepared application and filing it. There's a lot of steps that you have to follow when you go to the patent office website, and knowing what you need to do is important. So we're going to start off by showing everyone how to file a provisional patent application and what are the different steps you need to take to do so. So we're going to begin by going to the USPTO webpage. I've got that up on my screen right now. I'm actually going to backstep 2 spots here to show you the web page that we went to. So when you go to the USPTO webpage, it's this webpage right here, uspto.gov, and you're going to go in and pick the Patent Center as one of the drop-down menus under Patents. It will take you to this page, which has the details on what you're needing to do next. By the way, if you have any questions, you can just drop them in the comments section, and we will pick them up at the end. So we'll have about 10 minutes at the end of the presentation for questions and answers. Once you come to this page, you're going to do a new submission. So you'll click on this, and it will take you to a page that says, what are the different types of submissions you're doing? This is a non-provisional. This is a provisional, which is the one we're going to focus on. These two have a lot of things in common in terms of the documents that you need to present and provide. So it will be the same going down this path. And then, of course, this is a design patent, and this is if you're coming from a PCT application, noted right here, into the US. So let's go ahead and get started with the provisional. It's going to ask you if you want to sign in. For those of you that don't have an account, which should be most of you, you're just going to click continue, and it will take you to the next page. If you do have an account, you would have already logged in, and you will come to these pages in a different route. This next page is asking for the application data sheet. That's one of the documents you're going to need to file. You can prepare the application data sheet in advance by downloading it from the patent office, or you can do it online. You can also proceed without filing an ADS, but we are going to do an ADS so I can show you all the different parts that go into preparing and filing the ADS. So you're going to select that, and it's going to bring you to a page where you're going to start to add in all the different details. So the first thing is, how many inventors do you have? What are the names of the different inventors and so forth? So we're going to add a new inventor. It's going to want you to fill in. So I'm just Mr. So I'm going to put that in, my first name. I'm just going to file this thing under my name. Juben, I don't have a middle name. Last name is Dana. And if you note here, there are stars next to certain fields. Those are the mandatory fields. The suffix, nothing, unless you want to do it that way. Remember, if you do pick junior or senior, then everything you do from there on has to represent that, because the patent office considers these things as part of your legal name. So if you don't have anything, leave it blank. If you do, pick it and make sure you stay consistent. Residency, you're a US resident. City, I'm going to put the city of my residency. Then the state, of course, is California. Country is United States. And the address, we're going to put in the address of the firm. This one has auto-filling for me, but here we go. That's the address there. And then you can put in the suite number. You can put in Menlo Park, California, and 94025. Once you have all that filled in, you hit add. It loads it in there. There it is, mailing address. If you have other inventors, you click this. If you're the only inventor, then you're done. Application details is next. So you want the title of the invention. The title of this invention is, I will look it up in a second, system and method for a new product. So there it is right there. Attorney docket number, you typically won't have one. If you're working with an attorney, they will provide that for you. Entity status, small or regular undiscounted. If you have more than 500 employees, you're regular undiscounted. If you have less than 500 employees, you pick small. Of course, if you're an individual or an early stage company, then you would just pick small. The type of application here is provisional. You don't have a way of changing that because remember, we entered this portal under the word provisional. Subject matter is utility. Total number of sheets of drawings, I have 5. So I'm going to put that there. They're asking for which of the figures. Now remember, the number of sheets of drawings is not the same as figures. You could have 3 figures on one sheet of drawing. So you have potentially, let's say I had 3 figures on each of these sheets. So I would have 15 different figures. And they're asking for which figure do you want for publication. Remember, the provisionals are never published. They're never made public and they expire after a year. So if you leave this blank, it's fine. If you want to add one of the figures in, you're welcome to do that. Remember, these 2 are not mandatory fields. These are the mandatory fields. These other fields are not mandatory. So even if you left them blank, it wouldn't matter. On a non-provisional application, that will matter, especially because those get published. So I'm just going to put figure 1. And then if you're filing by reference, you check this box. Typically, you're not because you're loading up the application yourself. Now, this next section talks about how long before it gets published. Again, this is what you need for a non-provisional. It is completely irrelevant here, but they give you one to check. So you just leave the first one. And if you check any of these other boxes, they're going to charge you fees for something they will never do. So don't check them. Just leave this first box checked and move on. So you hit continue. It will save this and move you to the next section. This is the ADS. Let me go back and fill in a couple of other sections. So we did the application details, representative details. You can leave all of this blank. I'm just showing you this in case you're filing this on behalf of someone. So you are neither one of these. You're just an individual filing on your own. Claiming domestic benefit. Again, provisionals don't really claim benefit to any documentation. That's why none of this stuff is here to be filled out. Foreign priority. Again, provisionals don't come in from foreign applications. They are literally stage entries if you come from a foreign application. So in this scenario, you have no foreign priority. You're just filing the provisional. First inventor to file. This is a statement under the AIA. This application claims priority to another one. Again, provisionals typically don't claim priority to any other application, so you can leave this section blank as well. This is for if you're using your application to go to other countries. So this is the authorization to allow access to documents and document exchanges that are set up between different patent offices. Do not check any one of these boxes because this is a negative statement. Applicant does not authorize. Applicant does not authorize. If you want to authorize them to do it, to be able to do it, leave them blank. And once again, we're talking about a provisional. So none of these things are really relevant in the context of your provisional application filing. However, they don't need to be checked and you can just leave them blank and move on. Applicant, this is about if you're going to assign this to a company or to somebody else. This is where you add the new applicant. In this case, I'm not assigning it to anyone. However, if I did and I wanted to add a new applicant, it's similar to what it was before. If it's a person, you just fill in the name, all that good stuff. Applicant type, assignee, whether you're assigning it to someone or whether they're a legal representative or one of the other inventors. If you're assigning it to a company, you would check this box. And of course, all of these fields change. The application type still stays the same, but if you notice now it wants the organization name and their address instead of before when it wanted the name of the individual as the one you're assigning it to. We're not going to assign this to anyone, so there's nothing to fill out here. With respect to assignee, again, remember the applicant is different from the assignee. The applicant is the one that has power to act in the application. They are the one that gets to, communicate with the patent office. The assignee is the one that owns it. Now, can the applicant and the assignee be the same? Of course, yes, they can. So you would still need to fill out both of these sections. Again, if I have someone I'm assigning it to, I would click add an assignee. Again, if you notice, it's the same thing. It wants the mailing address and all the information. If it's an organization, you click here and that wants the name of the organization. So if you're assigning it to a company, that's what you would do. If you're assigning it to one of the joint inventors or to somebody else, you would fill it in right there. Well, again, we're not assigning this to anyone, so we're going to leave it blank. This summary section, if you take a quick look, it has everything you filled out. So it gives you kind of an overview of all the information you put in. So here's the inventor name. There's no customer number. If you notice, all of these things are blank because we did not fill them in except for the provisional and the subject matter. And we're not filing by reference because we're not referring to another application to pull in the content here. Again, no information was entered in terms of form priority because provisionals typically don't have that. And then, of course, we didn't check any of these boxes. And the applicant section is also left blank, which means the inventor is the applicant, and the assignee is left blank, which means the inventor owns all the rights. And of course, here we go with the section. And of course, the signature section is pretty simple, but sometimes people get it wrong, which causes a problem. If you want, you can take a look at the signature section as this. There's an electronic way of signing, and the patent office gives you the format and the rules by which you can sign. And basically it is this: you use a /, you type in your name however you want. You can do it in small letters, capital letters. You can do it your initials and date of birth. You can do it any way you want, as long as it's a signature that you use consistently. I just use my first name and my last name all in lowercase. And then of course I'd come in here and type in my first name and my last name. I always capitalize my last name, and of course registration number, I would put that in because I'm a registered practitioner, but most people are not, so you just leave it blank. And remember, there's no star next to it. These have stars next to it, which are mandatory fields. This is not a mandatory field. So now that I've done all that, I hit continue and we go back to, it says here, oh wait, a title of the invention is required. So it's now set. If you look at this, it tells me I can upload the document or I can just grab this one. If you notice here, this is the application data sheet. It's loaded up and ready to go. I can preview it by clicking here. And here's what it would look like. There it is right there. And I know I'm going through this rather quickly, but just to show you what the content is, it's right here. It says the title of the invention is missing. That was a problem I should have fixed. So let me see why that problem exists. Let's go look at application details. Okay, for some reason, this was not saved. By the way, we're not going to enter a customer number on this page because you don't have a customer number. But the title of the invention is there. I had it in there before. Don't worry about the docket number. Don't worry about the entity status. Being small is what you need to pick because that determines the fees that you actually end up paying. Total number of pages. We had this entered, but for some reason, it didn't do it. So remember, this is the total number of sheets of drawing. This is the reference to the figure number. Okay. We're not filing by reference. We're leaving this normal. Let's see if this now has been saved. It wants me to enter a customer number. Oh, so we're going to have to provide a physical address. That's what the problem was. Usually we put a customer number in, but if you want to provide a physical address, again, we'll just put that in. It'll fill it in automatically. This is my email address, all my contact info, and they need this information in order to be able to communicate with you because the patent office sends information typically via mail if they are communicating things. So that's important to have. Let me just check this section. And I'm going to say next section. Hopefully it saved that. There we go. Now we're going to click continue, and hopefully it will take me now. There we go. To the, let's do a preview to make sure that the information we needed is there. For some reason, it's not saving the title of the invention. Okay. I'm going to hit continue at this point. We're going to click entity as being small status, number of pages in the specification. This is just if you're submitting it by paper, but in our case, I think there are 10 pages in my sample application. I click continue. And here is the different fees that I need to pay. We're doing the provisional application. We're not doing any sequence listings, so we can ignore these two things. So we're just doing a provisional filing. Number of pages 10. So we can now hit continue. And it's gonna now take us to a page where it gives us all the information. So the e-filer information is my first name. So you would put your name in here, your last name, and then your email address. And you click submit. So again, it's going back to that same error it gave me in a sense that it wants a title of the invention. It wants a customer number, and it wants an ADS one valid signature. So for some reason, it did not accept the signatures that we had. And so I will now go and try to identify that problem for you, because this is a problem that people have quite often. So the inventor information is here. That's right. US residency, address, application data is here. In this case, I'm just going to enter a customer number. Oh, no, I'm not going to enter any customer number. I'm going to provide a physical address. Again, we did that earlier. I'm not sure why it didn't accept it, but again, this is part of the process that we have to be able to resolve, and people have to be able to go and see. Again, my name, let me put all the data points in here. It's there. All right, there's the address. There we go. There's Menlo Park, California, 94025. The phone number is there. Let's just add that into there. There's the email address. Oh, you can have up to 3 different email addresses. So, you know, if you have a different email address, you can put that in here. You can keep that. Title of the invention we had submitted earlier. Attorney, we don't have a docket number. Again, if your attorney is working with you, they will put that docket number in. These 2 things we cannot change. Again, these 2 are not mandatory, so we're not going to worry about it. The entity status, again, we're going to put small, but as you saw earlier, we're able to select the entity status at the time we're trying to determine the information. So total number of sheets, we're going to put 5. Figure, we're going to put 1. For some reason, it's not allowing me to save. So this should be opened for me to be able to save it. We're going to hit continue. Okay, so let me see if I can upload my documents to show you how to upload your provisional application. We're going to go look at wherever it is you've stored the information for your application. Mine is right here. So I'm going to load up a document that is the provisional application itself. So that's this document here. You click and pick it. Now remember, when you load this up, you cannot have any spaces in the name of the application. So you put, basically, I put in the date, underscore, the word test, underscore, and then, a dash, and then the name of the application. Just note that you cannot have any spaces in there. If you do, it'll cause an error. So I'm going to open that up. So there is the application, and we're going to say that this is the application part, and it is the specification. We're going to pick that. We're going to add another document, which is the figures. So remember, I need the specification, which is the detailed description, the summary, the background, and the figures is the other thing I need. And again, remember, you cannot have any spaces in the name. So I'm going to bring that up. It knows that it's black and white line drawings only. So it picked that. And now we are ready to continue. So I have the specification, I have the figures, and now I have the application data sheet, which identifies the inventor. We're going to download all of the documents. All right, and we are going to, at this point, click continue. Again, remember, we had the small entity status put in there. So we picked a small entity. We identified the number of pages of our specification. And of course, you don't need to check this because you're not filing any petitions of any kind. And you click continue. Now it will ask you to review. The provisional application fee is right there for small entity. If you did not check small entity, that number would be doubled. So it'd be 300. Total number of pages, no petitions filed. And we're going to be able to click continue at this point. It's going to calculate the fees. And if you notice here, it's going to ask who the filer is. Remember, we have our application data sheet, our specification, and our drawings. It's going to ask for my name, so I'm going to put that in. And my email address. Oh, sorry. And then I can click submit at this point. Again, it's giving me the same issue on the application data sheet. It wants the title, the customer number, or the address information, and the web. As you saw, we filled it out. However, when you do the preview here, it is not showing it here. As you can see, it is blank. So you have to be able to address that problem. And at this point, I'm going to go back and remove this document and resubmit it in a different format. So I'm going to go back to my initial submission. I'm going to go in to the application data. Remember, all those other documents are currently uploaded. And I'm going to change my filing method so I can move to the next step. And I'm not going to provide an IDS or attach an IDS. Okay. Entity status is small, its utility is provisional. Title of the invention we have right here. First name inventor is myself. Oh, sorry. I don't have a middle name. And I don't have a customer number. I'm going to provide a physical address instead. And the address is going to be the same as the firm address. Country is United States. Oh, sorry. We're going to remove that from there and put that there. We're going to put the name as Juvendana. I'm going to remove that. There we go. This will be stop 217 Menlo Park, California, 94025. You can provide your phone number, which is rarely ever used by the patent office. You can also provide your email address. Again, they don't communicate via email unless you authorize them to do so. In the event you do, then they will authorize, they will communicate by email. Otherwise, all their communication typically comes from US postal mail. I can hit continue at this point. And there is the specification, the black and white line drawings. And of course, I removed the ADS. So now we can continue. I provided the ADS in a slightly different way. Again, remember, entity status is small. Again, it's got a star next to it. You have to fill that out. You hit continue. Again, same fee. It has 10 pages. We click continue again. And there's all the details. I'm going to once again submit my name here and put my email address here. And I hit submit at this point. Hopefully we won't have any errors and it will move on to tell us that it's been submitted and do I want to pay the fee? Okay, here you are. This shows you have a submission. There's the title of the invention. There's information about the specification and the drawings. Here's the documents that you filed. These are the ones we uploaded. And here's the total fee that you need to pay. You do need to pay the fee, otherwise your filing won't be complete. But at this point, you have an application serial number. You have a date stamp as to when you submitted. By the way, this is Eastern time, not Pacific, or Central or Mountain. So if you notice this time being different from the time zone you're in, just understand that it's Eastern time. Once you click this button and say pay fees now, you're going to leave this page and you're going to go to a page where you can actually submit the fees. The page that you come to is the Financial Center page. And this is where you can enter your credit card information, or you can submit it a different way. You don't need to sign in because you probably won't have an account. You just say continue as a guest. It brings you to this page. Again, here is the reference number. Here's the application serial number. And here's the total fees you pay. You enter your credit card information, your billing address, and at the very end, you click submit and your fees are paid. I'm not going to do that, even though I filed an application. By not paying the fee, the application will go abandoned in due time. So I'm going to cancel this payment. And it brings me back to this page. The fees are still outstanding. You could skip fees for now, but you're going to get a letter eventually in the mail saying that your fees were not submitted. You'll need to submit your fees, and there will be a surcharge. So I think it's like a $80 or $70 surcharge for not paying your fees on time. That in a nutshell wraps up how to file a provisional application. As you can see, there are sometimes you come across some difficulties and some challenges where the system is not accepting. There are ways to work around that. So as you saw, I was trying to submit the application data sheet. I attempted to do it twice. It wouldn't save my information. So I just removed the application data sheet, proceeded, and it provided the information in a different way. In other words, it asked for my mailing address and the contact information as just a form that I filled out for them. That sums it up. That in a nutshell is where you go and what you do to file your provisional application. There's a couple of more steps you have to follow when you file a non-provisional application, but for the most part, the two steps are similar. So with that being said, I'm going to open it up to any questions anybody has, anything that somebody wants to ask specifically. You guys can drop your questions in the comments and we will address them as we go.
Hi, Jubin, and hi, everyone. Please, yes, go ahead and put your questions in our chat box that we have there on the right-hand side of your screen. We have two questions already, Jubin. Someone is asking, how long should I expect to wait until I hear from the USPTO after I submit my application?
If you're providing a provisional application, the first point of contact the U.S. Patent Office will have with you is typically within 4 to 6 weeks, where they send you what they call an official filing receipt. So what they will do at that point is send you information that confirms the name, the title, etc. And in about 4 weeks or so, you should receive that. After that, because this is a provisional application, there will be no other communication. And after the 1-year period, the provisional will expire. Also, before they send you your official filing receipt, if you're missing anything, for example, we didn't pay the fee. So in due time, because I actually did file that test application, which by the way has nothing in it that is of value, but it's just a content I prepared and filled out, you will receive a notice of missing parts from the patent office that says these are the things that are missing. And you will have to then submit or provide those things that are missing. And the main thing that I'm missing right now is the filing fee.
All right, great. Thank you for that. And it seems like you have answered our second question as well, which was what documents would we get, which you seem to have gone over. Just like I said earlier, if anyone has any other questions, go ahead and put that in the chat box. But that's the two that we have for now.
And one thing that I will share with everyone is just so you can see what the application looked like. This is the application that I filed. So it basically says a system and method for a new product. Mind you, your title would be a lot more mindful. This is a title page, which identifies the inventor, the applicant, assignee, and the correspondence. We had the docket number, but we don't have a correspondence. So you will list your personal address there. As an inventor, just remember anything you provide in this document becomes public. So it can be seen by others. However, remember, provisional applications are never published. So it's quite possible that no one ever sees it. However, when you go to convert it to a non-provisional, you will then at that point have that information become public. These are the different sections that you have to include. So field of the invention, background, summary, brief description of the drawings. As you saw, figures are not the same as number of sheets of drawings. And then here's the detailed description. And provisional applications don't require a claim, but in this instance, I did add in one claim. Of course, this is not the type of claim you would write. You would write a claim that is more specific to the problem you're solving, but I just put a method for solving the problem.
That does it for questions for us. If you want to wrap up or have anything else, Jubin?
I don't have anything else. So, if you have any questions, you want to follow up with us, please do so. You can reach us through our website. You can reach us through, the phone, and there's various ways. We can put in the comments, I'll put in the comments our webpage, so you can go there. And if you need to reach me directly, I'm Jubin at danalegalservices.com. Finally, if you need to reach Nicole, who's on with us, it's in the chat. Yeah, so if you have any questions, follow up with us. It's a simple process once you've done it a couple of times. However, even though I've done it many, many times, I still ran into that issue where it was not taking the title of the invention. So we had to work our way around it. Sometimes things like that happen. Other times there's no glitch. It's pretty smooth and easy. Nicole, do you have anything you want to add?
Nope, I'm good to go. Contact us, www.danalegalservices.com. The two that Jubin also provided. Yeah, we're happy to help. Thanks, Jubin.
Sure. Thanks everyone for joining us. Take care.